Testing, testing. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Look, if this is your first time here, then that makes two of us. This is my first video. Hey, anyways, my name is Jay. Welcome in. We're going to take a look at some things today, guys. On the rise lately has been a lot of scams. I don't know if you guys have noticed this: telemarketers calling, phone going off the hook, bank people calling, all these, fictitious people. And they're calling, coming in, and there's stories everywhere about it. So be careful, especially if you're elderly. They always used to target the elderly and the less fortunate, but now, even with the advent of AI, it's gotten even more sophisticated. So even people like myself that are quite savvy with tech and understand how things work, um, are even getting challenged. All right, so yeah, be careful, protect yourself. All right, and let's hear some of these stories.
Did you know there's a new banking scam? And motherfuckers tried to get me yesterday, but since I'm suspicious of everything, it didn't work. And I'm going to share it with you right now because you need to share it with all of your family and friends. They're getting good. So here's what happened. You know how your bank will send you those text messages for fraud alerts if you have a weird charge? Well, I got one yesterday. Here it is. Looks exactly like the one sent from my bank. So I replied no because I am not in Portland, Oregon. I'm in East Tennessee. I do wish we had a Target though. Bank calls me back, starts asking me all of the normal questions. They tell me they're going to stop the charge at Target, but there's also been several bill pays that were done yesterday and a few payments to random people. Then they wanted me to go into my online banking app, and this is when the red flags went up. They said that in order for me to stop payment on these random people, I would need to go into my pay a person portion of the online banking app and do a test run so they could verify my identity. I'm sorry, what? You want me to add you as a contact to my pay a person? Yeah, that's not happening. When I said absolutely not and told them that was never going to happen, the line went silent. I then hung up and called my bank directly and started asking them questions. They confirmed that this is a new scam and that if I had added them and sent them even one penny, their systems would have been able to link to my account and drain it. So here's the warning. If you receive a text from your bank about a fraud alert of any kind, or if anyone calls you saying that they are from your bank, hang up the phone and you call your bank directly. 99.9% of the time, the bank is never going to call you. You need to call them. And I'm putting this out there because it is so heartbreaking to me to know that there are people who will fall for this and have their money stolen. So for added measure, I updated my password and I'm now heading into the bank to get a new debit card because that card's been locked. And for you scammers, there's a special place in hell for you. Hope you like it hot.
Horrifying scam that is going around right now, and that actually happened to my family in the middle of the night last night. I have seen a few people talking about this like on Instagram and on Facebook and in a couple of like Facebook groups that I'm in, but it's one of those things that you see it and you're like, dang, that's crazy, but you never really think that it could happen to you. Around 3:30 this morning, while we were all sleeping, my brother and I both received a call from my mother's phone. It was her contact number, it was her contact photo, it was even like what was named in our separate phones for her. So in my phone, she is Mama, and in my brother's phone, she is Mom, and it came up like as her contact in both of our phones when we were both called. And for context, I live about 30 minutes out from Atlanta. My brother lives in Atlanta, and my parents live also in the same town as me, like 15 minutes away, so we were all at separate households. I received the call first, but I did not answer because I didn't hear it. It was 3:30 in the morning. I had my phone on vibrate. I didn't hear it go off. My brother happened to have his phone on loud. He received the call second, and he did answer because he heard it ringing and he thought something was wrong. When he answered the phone, he immediately heard what sounded like my mom, a woman's voice that sounded just like her, just crying hysterically and screaming. And so he obviously like freaked out and was like, Mom, what's wrong? Like, is there something wrong with Dad? Like, what's going on? And then before like she could say anything, a man came on the phone and said, I'm going to kill this bitch if you don't wire me $2,500. This man is like yelling over the phone, super aggressively, like demanding money, like saying he's going to murder my mother if he does not get money. The older brother is very level-headed, but at this point he's obviously like freaking out. He had not heard of this scam before. I had heard of it before, but even if I had gotten that call, I probably still would have lost my shit because I'm not as level-headed in high pressure situations like that, I probably would have been freaking out. And even he was freaking out. But he had his work phone on him. So he was on his like normal personal phone, and on his work phone, he immediately opened up Life 360, which if you do not have Life 360 for your family and your entire family on there, highly recommend it. It is such a good resource just to keep tabs on where everyone is and making sure everybody is safe if there's any situation like this, or any situation just in general, car accidents, anything like that. Life 360 is a lifesaver. So he opened up his Life 360 and he saw that both my parents were seemingly at home, which obviously doesn't mean that they're out of danger. It just means that he had eyes on them. He knew where they were. So once he knew that they were both there, he starts trying to call my dad's phone from his work phone while he's on the phone with this guy. And my dad's not answering because, again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I didn't hear my phone ring. Nobody's hearing their phone ring. So he's calling me, he's calling my dad, and he's trying to get a hold of somebody to, like, figure this out. After a little bit, he's not, like, totally convinced that there's no danger involved, but he is starting to see, like, red flags. Like, he hears a baby crying in the background all of a sudden, which my parents don't have a baby. There shouldn't be a baby. There's no reason there would be a baby with them. And so he's thinking, okay, I know they're at their house, so this is weird. Why is there a baby? And then he also realizes that this man has not mentioned my dad at all, which you would think that he would say, I have your parents, or I've done something to your dad, and now I have your mom, or whatever. So he has not mentioned my dad at all. He's seemingly calling from my mom's phone, so he knows that my mom has her phone, and he also knows that they are at home together. So at this point, he decides to hang up. He hangs up the phone because he's like, this is weird. I don't think this is legit. So he hangs up the phone and he calls 911, and they confirmed that basically, like, this is a scam that is going around. They're aware of it, but they're going to send a car to the house just to drive by and see if everything's okay. So at this point, my brother feels a little bit relieved, but he gets in the car to drive towards my parents' house anyway because my mom and dad are still not answering their phone. He gets about a quarter of the way there, and then at that point, my mom finally answers her phone, and she's been asleep this whole time, and everything is totally fine, which is such a relief. We were lucky enough to have not lost any money in it. Everything was fine. My parents were fine. The whole family was fine. But is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard? I am so shook by it. It is such a traumatic way to scam somebody. Like, horrifying. Like, not only, like, they ask for $2,500, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much money, and that's why they do it. I looked it up and I did a little bit of research on it, and apparently they ask for that amount of money because it's an amount of money that most people could give up if they felt like a family member was in danger, but it's, you know, it's just enough for the predator to get some money, but it's not so much that it would be hard for, you know, the general population to obtain or flagged by a bank, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also just crazy that they do it in the middle of the night, or at least they did for us, because they do it at a time that, like, number one, you're disoriented and, like, vulnerable. And number two, like, you're not able to get a hold of anybody that, like, to confirm that this is happening or not happening. And so it is just, like, it's so low and traumatic for anybody to receive a call like that. And I just feel like everybody needs to know about it. And again, I feel like it has been circulating on, like, social media, so a lot of people might already know about this, but if you don't, you need to. So anyway, I wanted to hop on and talk about it to hopefully save somebody just the mental anguish of receiving a call like this out of the blue. At least maybe now you'll have seen this video and you'll have at least some peace of mind, or just like an inkling that it could be not true. Share this with your friends, spread the word, because this is just the most predatory, low thing ever, and it was terrifying.
Please stop what you're doing. Listen, please. The scariest scam just happened to us. I'm still very shaken. It didn't even happen to me. Please send this to your parents. If you have older parents, if you have older grandparents, please send this to them, or let them know that this is happening, okay? So, about half an hour ago, my husband got a call from my phone number. It had my picture, it had my name, everything about it. It was my number. It was like a regular call. He didn't even think anything of it, answered the phone. On the other line was a guy saying he was holding me hostage and was going to shoot me if my husband did not transfer him money through Zelle. My husband immediately started texting our good friend that's in the FBI, and that guy instructed him to keep the guy on the phone and try to have that guy put me on the phone. Like, if he really had me, put me on the phone. So Josh my husband, is keeping him on the phone, trying to tell him to put me on the phone. In the meantime, he's also tracking my phone. Well, I happen to be at the hospital because my son had a doctor's appointment. So our FBI friend leaves work and is headed to me to make sure everything's okay. Josh was able to drag this phone call out for 5 minutes, and in the meantime, this guy's asking for, he's getting hostile, and he's asking for the money via Zelle. My husband's like, I don't know what Zelle is. Do you have Venmo? Because he's just like trying to prolong the conversation. He's like, I really need to talk to her. I need to make sure she's okay. After about 5 minutes of this, he still wouldn't put me on the phone, obviously, because I wasn't there. So Josh, my husband, hung up and called me right back, and I answered, and he was like freaking out, right? Anyways, the scariest part of all this is that they call from your number, and they knew everybody's names. So please spread the word that this is a new scam, because it is very realistic. It is very terrifying. And I know that a lot of people would just give them account numbers to get their loved ones back. Gosh, just spread the word, please. Hopefully, if we spread it far and wide, we can squash this, and it'll stop being a thing.
See, that's what I mean. It's exactly what I'm talking about. These people are scum of the earth. They are some of the worst people out there. To do this kind of stuff to people, to absolutely do this kind of crap. I mean, they don't care if you live or die. They don't care, about you, your money, or your family, or anybody. And that's what I'm talking about, this AI stuff, right? This new AI stuff that's out there. It's like I said, it's getting so sophisticated, guys. They can take with that AI, they can take with that new technology, your voice, your recording, your pictures on the internet. They take pictures off your Facebook. They can manipulate it with AI. They can do this with anybody. Don't think that, you're not a victim to it, or don't have the potential to be a victim to it, because you do. Like even me, like myself, I make videos. You can put stuff on the internet. If you're on TikTok, any social media, anywhere in the world, any social media, they could take your picture and a little clip of your voice, and they can manipulate it with AI and make it seem real. And it's getting so advanced that it's indistinguishable. You guys see it all the time. You see it on X. You see it everywhere. You guys see it everywhere. I know you do. You see it in your reels, your feeds, Instagrams, all over. You see all these little videos, Sasquatch and famous people and all this stuff. And you're like, oh man, look at that. That's the worst it's ever going to get. Because every day it gets more advanced. It gets more and more and more advanced, more sophisticated. And these scammers, they're taking advantage of that. And they're going to use every little tool in the box that they can find to get money. Because instead of working and doing hard work and then, working your butt off to actually, be productive in society, and, be a part of the community and, help create something, build something, do something with your life, they just want to destroy and tear it down, break it down. It's good versus evil. Now, I'm telling you, it happens all over the world. There's good and there's evil. And you have to protect yourself and your loved ones. Like I said, that's why I said earlier, shout out to the one with the 360. I mean, I'm a Harley Davidson rider. I ride bikes. My sister ride bikes. A lot of people in my family, we like to ride motorcycles, and I've done it since I was a kid. But the thing is, she gave that to me, years ago. She's like, hey, I want to make sure you're safe. I want to know where you're at, and join me on this app. And I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not promoted by them in any way. But I'm familiar with it because we've used it, and I understand there's a lot of people out there. I don't want to be tracked. I don't like the nanny state. I don't whatever whatever. Look, you're going to be tracked no matter what. You leave your house, you're being tracked. Okay, we can get into the weeds in this some other time on a different video, but there's no avoiding it. So I'm not so paranoid about it that I don't really care. I got nothing to hide anyway, so I put myself out there. Who cares? But that app is very handy to have. You can know where your loved ones are at all times, and keep them safe. And in today's world, you kind of need it. Um, but anyways, like I was saying, that's something that uh, you have to really be careful with. And security, safety, you know uh, changing your passwords, not doing the same routines, going to your bank, calling your institutions, doing everything and your due diligence to secure your finances, secure your family safety. Uh, you know, cameras, apps, whatever you want to do it, however you want to do it. It's up to you to research and to make those steps, because no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to do it for you. I mean, unfortunately, it's up to you. You know what I mean? I mean, you are on your own in this world. You got you and your loved ones and your family and friends, and that's about it. And how many of those can you really rely on? Maybe a couple close people that are in your inner circle that are really, really tight with, that you've known forever. I mean, even then, who do you trust anymore, right? So you have to watch yourself. You have to watch it, because there's scammers out there everywhere scamming you every single day, and they're not going to stop. They're in other places, foreign countries. They're hard to track. They're hard to get a hold of. They close up shop in a nanosecond, and they'll move to another shop if they get detected, and they'll just close one down, open one. I mean, it's like a cancer. You know what I mean? It pops up here, there, gone the next day. It's horrible. And I get phone calls. My phone number got out there somewhere a while ago, and I've had nothing but spam and robocalls just flood my phone. Like, I literally have to block all these phone calls that are robocalls, and I have thousands. I mean, I'm not even joking. I could show you a list. I have thousands upon thousands, multiple thousands of numbers just in the past 3 or 4 months I've had to block. And it just never stops. And it's like 20, 30, 40 a day, all the time. Never stops. But these scammers are always trying to get a hold of you through email, through phone. They're manipulating you through AI now. They're doing all these things, trying their best. And I think to myself, how low of life scum are you? Like, if you put that much effort and energy into actually working and contributing to the world, I'm like, oh my God, how much could you more could you do positive, instead of just trying to be a low life piece of shit. Sorry, excuse my French, but that's the truth. That you gotta, scam people. Like, the hell with you, man. Like, are you serious? Like, get a life, you know? But that's what I'm saying, guys. You gotta protect yourself, man. It's getting to the point, where, AI is scary. I mean, as I got another video coming up on that, about AI and the future. But anyways, that's for a later date. Let's finish this out, guys.
Hello, I'm Lorraine, and I just want to talk about what recently happened to me. I was on my computer and I got this alarming sound which went off, boom, 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 and I was very nervous trying to turn the computer off, but the thing said, don't turn your computer off because it won't go away. Call this 800 number. So I ended up calling the 800 number, and behind that 800 number, this guy answered, who informed me that my bank account had been hacked. And in the bank, they had charged my bank account over several thousands of dollars um, for child P. Now, you know what I mean? Doing things unspokenly, to children, that is a heinous crime. And I don't do things like that. So when the guy told me that, my bank account had been hacked and they had charged several thousands of dollars to purchase that type of material. And I was really like, oh no, that he said that I would be charged for because it came from my bank account, and that the federal government don't look, they're not going to look away on that. They're going to bring me up on charges, which would be felony charges. Felony charges for what? I don't do things like that. So, in order for me to get these charges off of me, this is what the guy said. I needed to take my money out the bank, and because the money had not been taken out of the bank yet, but they had charged it, but it had not been, actually withdrawn. So I went out, and he asked me, he told me I needed to take the money out. He said for me not to talk to my family. If anybody I talk to, that they will be charged with the same crime. They will also be a felony. And I mean, it was just a big, just getting my nerves worked up, because I know I had not been involved in anything like that. And for me to talk to someone in my family, and they all of a sudden become involved just because I talked to them about it, I didn't want to talk to nobody, because he said don't do that, because that's what's going to happen. Anyway, long story short, I ended up emptying my bank account because I was too afraid to talk to my family. So I followed all of the directions the guy gave me, and I truly emptied my bank account. And I don't know if there's any possible way I can get that money back, but I'm so devastated, because I saved that money, over the years, and it was my retirement money. So you hear stories like that. You don't think you're going to be the one who's the victim, but yeah, I became a victim. And I'm trying to let people know, if you have anything on your computer that comes up like a warning sign, or and it's telling you don't turn it off, call this 800 number, leave it alone. Do not call the 800 number. I promise you, there's a scammer behind that 800 number that's going to take you for everything you have. I don't want this to happen to anybody else. The best thing I can tell you, if you get something like that, walk away from it. The alarm is so loud and it's so confusing that you do become entrenched in that noise, and you definitely want to turn it off. So I'm just letting you guys know that it's out there. These people are out here to take you for everything. I thought I would never be a older person, who has been scammed, taken for everything they got. Don't do it, guys. It's not worth it. Don't answer that don't call that 800 number. It's a scammer. If they have a voice that, sounds like, what the scammers sound like. They're from different countries, and you probably already know what countries you have to be looking out for. But if you have someone who's thinking, they make you feel like they're comfortable, you got to be comfortable with them. They scare you that, tactics that if you tell anybody about it, they're going to be involved. They use all type of tactics to get you to just give in to their commands. So that way that, they can control everything. Don't do that. Don't do that, because I promise you, they're going to take you for everything you got. I just wanted to put that out there, and hopefully you guys are listening. Hopefully you're understanding. Don't call that 800 number. You get somebody hacking your computer, get away from it. Turn it off if you can. Use the escape button however you can. I couldn't close it. I couldn't get it off. So I ended up calling the 800 number. And behind that 800 number was the biggest scam of my life. The biggest scam. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else.
It's not Chase Bank calling you. I got a call today I stayed on the line for quite some time because I wanted to see what that scam was, because I used to teach and investigate a lot of real estate and identity theft. So the phone number on my caller ID said Chase, and the phone number was 203-368-2077. While I was talking on the phone with the person, I Googled that number, and it did come back to a Chase branch in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I'm not in Connecticut. The person on the line with a very, very thick accent was saying that someone had applied with my information, and did I do that? And I said no. They said they applied in New York. I said I haven't been in New York. Then they proceeded to tell me that my identity had been compromised. They took some information, made it sound like it was legitimate, like he was giving me case numbers and stuff, reporting numbers, and then he said he was going to connect me with one of the credit bureaus so I could report it with them. So he put me on some hold. Nice elevator music, by the way. And then when I got to the credit bureau person, he asked me for the same case number, so I didn't have it. And then he asked me to confirm my social security, my name, and my date of birth so he could pull it up. That was it. They wanted to get my contact information so that they could then actually do identity theft. So hang up the phone. It's not Chase Bank. Please share this with as many people as possible.
Do not fall for this scam. Please watch this video so that it does not happen to you. Just watched another TikTok of a girl that this happened to, and I couldn't stitch the video, so I'm just gonna make one myself. Someone very, very close to me after college was desperately looking for jobs, and obviously if you are in need of money and in need of a job, you are more vulnerable than other people. If you've been on your search for a while, a good opportunity presents itself. I mean, you're gonna take it and you're gonna run with it because it's what you want and you've been looking for it. Basically what I'm saying is do your research on companies that you find on even LinkedIn. These like really credible sites have scammers. Do your research on the company, make sure that it's a real company, message people about it, look at reviews, make sure you do thorough research. Reached out to this company, it was everything they wanted, and they got the job. They got their offer, it was perfect, they were signing contracts, and they even got onboarded for training. This person I'm talking about got live training every single day and was sent like things to do every day, like homework. Had to literally pass a test, was speaking to a real life person over the phone every day when that person could not figure out how to do certain things for the homework. So yes, they will go to those lengths to literally scam you. This person gets through the training, everything's good, they're so excited to get like officially onto the team. And that person gets told, hey, we need to like link your account, you know, we're gonna do direct deposits, this is how we're gonna pay you, and obviously that makes sense. Like, this is how we're gonna pay you for your training. It just makes sense. Of course, they get their routing and accounting number, and they get a notification that their account has been overdrawn. They look at their account, and it literally says negative $23,000. This person then goes back and realizes they did not do enough research and that this company was not anywhere else online and that it was a freaking scam. And everyone that was part of the company and everyone that he was talking to now has lost all communication. So be smart and research. Ask questions, ask for proof, ask about anything. I mean, be picky. That person called the cops, filed a police report, called the bank. No one cares. No one's going to help you. The money was not replaced and the scammer was not found. And please watch out because this happens to everyone all the time and people don't talk about it enough. I'm so sorry to the girl that I just watched that video of. Let's prevent this from happening again, please.
$106,000 was stolen from my husband and I this past weekend by an online scammer, and we will not be getting any of our money back. It is gone. So this is what happened. I got a phone call saying someone was trying to log into our account and steal our money, and they suggested changing the password. They gave him a secure link to log in, asked for the code, and yada yada. That was their access into our account. So it went from 106 to 0 in the blink of an eye. And we immediately went to the police department. We've been in contact with the FBI, but you don't get your money back when scams like this happen. And we had a pretty rough weekend. We cried it out. We did all the things. I'm not going to get on this app and cry, but essentially, after a bad weekend, this is where we've landed. I know God is always going to provide for us. We have hit our knees in prayer, and I fully believe we are going to be just fine. God never promised that bad things won't happen to good people. Everyone's going to go through trials, but he did promise he will be there with us through the storm. And that is exactly how I feel now. That account was, not going to make or break our life. We are very blessed to have a roof over our head. We have secure jobs. Our children are healthy and safe. But that account was an investment in our future. It was going to help us pay for college or retirement, whatever we wanted it to be. But it was a luxury, not a necessity. We will be okay. But at the same time, it was a luxury that was only available because of my husband's hard work. He worked for years to build that account, and we have a newborn. She's a month old, and Matt has been putting in 12, 14-hour days at work every day to provide for us because he is such a hard worker. He works his ass off to provide for us. And yeah, the sleep deprivation got to him. He got a phone call in the middle of a nap. When you wake up from a nap and you're like, what time is it? What planet am I on? And that's what happened. The scammers took advantage of that. And if it was any other day, probably would have never fell for that. He knows better, but it was just the perfect storm of he was exhausted and didn't know what was going on and just trusted the phone call. And here we are.
Man, how crazy is that? I mean, unbelievable. You work your ass off and you try to do the right thing. It just seems like, it's just every time you try, right? It's like one step forward, two step back. But it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate, guys. It really is. I absolutely can feel sorry for her because you work and work and work and work and you put stuff away and you save for your retirement, you save for the future. I mean, and then some piece of crap scammer comes along and just in a matter of a second or a couple minutes takes everything you spent years working hard, doing the right thing every day, and then something like this comes along and it crashes in minutes. Like your whole world just, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine. I mean, I can imagine, but you don't want to, right? Because I mean, like, holy moly. And I know I personally get calls, like I've told before. I get tons of scammers. I get tons of calls every day. My phone number has gotten out to so many different lists, my emails, and people calling me, emailing me, texting me, weird numbers. Like, I have literally thousands upon thousands of them blocked, emails and numbers on my phone. Just insane how many numbers I've had to block and how many scammers I've had to deal with just in a matter of a few months once my information got out there. It's insane. It's almost like, it's almost like you don't even want to try to get ahead anymore because they just, but of course, you obviously, you want to, but what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is, you do everything right and you follow the rules and you work hard and you do all the right stuff. And then something like this happens. It's like, nobody cares. Nobody's out there. No one really is going to care. You got to protect yourself and do it for yourself. And, that's why I want to make these videos and help inform you guys as well. Just, pay attention because it can happen to you, me, anybody. And with the advent of AI and the technology now, man, forget about it. They can manipulate time and space almost pretty near it, right? They can manipulate your image and your likeness and your voice and put you in any time and place. Like, oh, you were here, you did this. Well, it's on video, I see it. That's not me, that's AI. Well, prove it. Prove it's not you. That's your picture, that's your voice. It shows you doing that. They could set you up for a crime if they wanted to. That's coming. That's coming, guys. Trust me. It's the future is going to be wild and crazy. It's going to be a challenge. I'll just put it to you that way. All right. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, share, like, subscribe. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking it out with me, and help me push this out with the algorithm. And I'll see you in the next one. All right, guys. All right. Much love, man. Peace. Take care of your pets. They're worth it. Give your dogs a hug. I love dogs. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.